Good morning, everyone. It is coming up on 9 a.m. I've told everybody that I was going to be on here live at 9, so we'll give this just a moment for people to log on. So today is Friday, March 27th. It's about 9 a.m., and my name is Brian Pate. I am the owner of the Pate Realty Group at Keller Williams Preferred, and I'm also an instructor for the North Carolina Real Estate Commission. And so I'm here to discuss what's going on with the coronavirus, COVID 19, whatever you want to call it, the outbreaks. We're going to talk today a little bit about the stay at home orders from multiple counties here in North Carolina. Good morning, Peter Berkner. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Peter, hair and makeup is because I'm using a much better camera. This is my first live broadcast on my new computer. So while everybody else has been out and about over the last couple of weeks, I've been sheltered in place because I have Crohn's disease and lupus. So I have been avoiding public contact. So I bought a new computer and got it working. So today's the first broadcast from that. So good morning, Renee Chisholm. Hope you're doing well. The Queen of Franklin County, good to see you here. Olga, it's nice to see you. Eileen Dowd, my good friend and former broker in charge, nice to see you. So let's go through what today's topics are going to be. Number one, we're going to talk about all the stay-at-home orders. I've got some details for you in terms of both for the general public and for the realtor community that I'm such good friends with. Love my realtor folks. We're going to have a discussion about what we can do and what we should do. So good morning, Andre. Nice to see you joining us. Also, I'm going to give you some of the latest stats on the coronavirus here in North Carolina and nationally and worldwide. We're going to talk a little bit about the stimulus bill. Good morning, Chris McLaughlin. Hope you guys down in Fayetteville are doing well. Tony, good to see you. Hope your daughter is at home and you're enjoying that time. We're going to talk about the stimulus bill. We're going to talk about real estate stats. What's this doing to the real estate business? To me, it actually looks good for the real estate business, and I'll talk about why. And then I'm going to give you some continuing education updates. And I'll go ahead and tell you up front, for those of you thinking about taking CE from me online, I need you to get registered. I sold out 2 classes yesterday, so the online classes are going quickly, especially ones in the 2-week zone here. As Wake County has told us to stay at home through at least April 16th. I've got classes almost every day through April 16th, so you can join those. Good morning, Robert Flynn. You guys over in Durham having a tough time. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. So let's get to it, and let's talk about what's going on. So let me talk about the stay-home orders first, and walk through what you can do. Again, these are the things that you can do, and bear with me. I've got my own little teleprompter here to my left. Good morning, Angie Cole. Hey, Angie Cole, how you doing, girl? Joey Moriarty, good gravy. I haven't seen you in 20 years. Good to see you on here, bud. Thanks for coming. Rob, good to see you, buddy. I'll see you tomorrow for a little bit of entertainment, I guess. So, stay-at-home orders. What can you do? Number one, you can go to the grocery store, go to the convenience store, or go to the warehouse store. So if you need to go to Harris Teeter, by the way, the Harris Teeter over in Wakefield, off of Falls of the Noose Road, one of their employees was diagnosed with the coronavirus. So you need to be aware of that, especially if you're one of those people that is at high risk like me. So, but you can go to the grocery store, you can go to a convenience store, you can go to a warehouse store, you can go get your food, you can go hoard the toilet paper if that's what you want to do. I don't recommend it. Supply chains look good. If people had stopped hoarding everything and buying everything that's available, we would be fine. Thank goodness for the stores that are limiting purchases right now. My big thing that I'm looking for is distilled water. So if you happen to see a gallon of distilled water, I could use a couple of gallons of that for my CPAP machine. I have to have that for my sleep disorder. So you can go to the pharmacy and pick up your medications and other healthcare necessities. So if you need to go to CVS or one of those pharmacies, you can certainly do so. My good friends over here at the Village Pharmacy in Wake Forest, all these good folks taking care of us. Remember to say thank you, by the way, when you're there. The people checking you out at the grocery store, the pharmacists, they're coming in contact with people every day. Those are high risk people because of the number of people they're coming in contact with. Please be nice. We got to be nice, folks. Everybody's stressed. You are not the only one dealing with stress, so please be polite. Let's do our best to be good to each other. We can do better than we have been. Um, Visit a healthcare professional for medical services that can't be provided virtually. So if you need to go to the doctor, you can do so. My understanding is that general practitioners are not able to administer the coronavirus test for COVID-19. So if you need that test done, they are limiting the number of people that are they're giving the test to. Most of the time, they're telling you to go home and wait for a couple of days and then come back if you still feel the symptoms. The only people they are testing are those that are at high risk, and they're testing those immediately. Have a friend of mine that went to the doctor on Thursday night or Wednesday night, excuse me, and she's got a heart condition. So they immediately tested her, and they told her that otherwise they'd have probably sent her home until Monday and told her to come back. If you think you have the coronavirus, the best thing you can do, by the way, is to start drinking fluids. Flush it out. Gargling with salt water in your throat will help to wash the virus into your stomach, where it can be eaten up but taken care of by the acids in your stomach. Warm, chicken noodle soup, the old adage of chicken noodle soup, warm liquids going through your system will also help do that. So just a couple of hints there. And make sure you're brushing your teeth and using mouthwash. That can make a difference also. Other things you're allowed to do: go to a restaurant and get takeout, delivery, or drive-through. You can certainly do this. Just be very careful. Remember that we don't know what kind of contact we've had. Most of the restaurants, by the way, have done a fantastic job of taking care of that. I've mostly avoided them. I did have a friend that owned a restaurant deliver me some food the other day, and it was delicious, and I thank him for that. He knows who he is. I'm not going to tell you who it is publicly, but I greatly appreciated that. If you need to care, if you're a caregiver for a family member, if you've got an elderly parent or grandparent or someone that you are a caregiver for, you can go to their house. What you cannot do is just go visit for the sake of visiting. Peter Kaima is one of my best friends. He was on earlier this morning at 8:30 a.m. with his Friday morning coffee talk. Peter and I have been best friends for years, and we've been unable to see each other for the last couple of weeks. And now we shouldn't be. We would normally get together at least once a week and catch up. So you can't do that. You can walk your pets. Take your pets outside. Go for a walk. Enjoy the time with your dog. Your dog should be spoiled right now. and by this time, for those of you that have been holed up for a week or so, if you haven't been confined for the last week, over the next week, you're going to figure out you like your dog better than you like your kids in some cases. So I'm just joking, of course, but take care of the pets. Get them some walk. They don't know what's going on. Pets are stressed right now, so it's important to take care of them. If you need to help someone get necessary supplies, then you can go out. And then, of course, you can receive deliveries from any business that delivers. So all of those are allowed by all of these stay-at-home orders that are here. Again, I'm still anticipating we're going to be seeing something from the state of North Carolina. I'm a little flustered that we haven't seen anything from Roy Cooper in terms of a stay-at-home order. I'm guessing they're being very careful and taking input from a lot of different organizations trying to lobby for themselves to still be open. So let's talk about what we do know, okay? Mecklenburg County, all of my friends in the Charlotte area, you are on a stay-at-home order. The Mecklenburg County order does not exempt real estate agents. So showing of houses, anything leading up to the listing is probably not allowed. But if you are under contract and you're moving towards closing, if you need to do inspections, if you're doing a due diligence repair request, if you're doing repairs, contractors that are doing work on the house to fix things, if you're having painting done or you're needing a roof fixed, things like that, those people are exempt. They'll just need to have their business card, and if they get stopped, they need to let people, whoever the officer is or the enforcement officer, let them know what's going on. And then the closing process is still going on. Attorneys are closing. Most of the attorneys that I have spoken with are no longer allowing realtors to attend the closing. They're bringing in the buyers and the sellers, but they're bringing them in separately so there's not a large group. And they're recording electronically. So that's what we're seeing. And we'll talk a little bit further. I know some of you in Durham have questions about that, so we'll talk further. Cabarrus County and Concord area has issued a joint order. All of the municipalities in Cabarrus County have joined together with the Cabarrus County regulations, and they're all enforcing the same order. Realtors, again, not exempt under their rules, but the same thing with contractors, et cetera, that are able to do work. Gaston County's stay-at-home order was effective yesterday. Again, same exemptions, realtors not exempt. Orange County, which includes Chapel Hill and Carrboro, goes into effect this evening. I have looked at that one in detail, and I can't find anywhere that realtors are exempt there. So again, same process if you're under contract and going towards closing. Durham County. So Durham County, we know, does not exempt realtors. We know what it does do, though, it exempts photographers and videographers as media. So people in Durham, if you're in the city of Durham, remember this is Durham City, not county. I think I misspoke a minute ago. Durham City, not county. So if you are an agent and you want photographs or video taken of your listing, then you can get those photographs and videos taken, and you can use that for your virtual marketing. And we'll talk about some of the techniques that are available to you there. So Durham City, the realtors are not exempt except for the closing process, contract to closing, but the process is exempt, and then the photographers are exempt, so that you can hire the photographers and videographers to get your photos, etc. So one thing you need to understand, and I'm going to kind of close this section of the discussion out with this statement. You cannot gather in groups of people, period. That we're not talking about less than 10 anymore. You're not supposed to gather in groups. So neighborhood get-togethers, barbecues, stuff like that, cul-de-sac parties, you need to stay in your own yard and let everybody else stay in their own yards and keep them separate. There's one of my favorite songs from the mid-90s is a song by a guy named Tracy Byrd, and it's called If the World Had a Front Porch Like We Did Back Then. Go Google it, YouTube it, listen to it, and you'll get my sentiments. I love the fact that I went out for a walk yesterday and actually this morning saw some people on their front porch just out and waving at them as we walked by. So definitely something that you can do. You can go out to the parks, you can take a walk, just keep your distance as other people are coming by. If you're a jogger or a walker, be cognizant if you're coming up behind somebody and you're moving faster than them, give them plenty of warning that you're coming and give plenty of distance. Remember the 6-foot rule to try to give us our social distancing. Okay, next topic. Let me take a sip here. I feel like Bill Gallagher. Everybody grab your cups. Grab your cups, take a sip of something. We're going to talk on, talk up, talk out. That's my Bill Gallagher impression for you this morning. So let me give you the latest stats on the coronavirus here. The big number that I saw this week, yesterday, we heard that 3.28 million people filed for unemployment in the United States last week. I wanted to give you some perspective on that, okay? The U.S. population is approximately 330 million, okay? So if we were to say the U.S. population was 328 million, that means that 1 in every 100 people in the U.S. last week filed for unemployment. Think about that number. That's pretty scary because that population number takes into account the elderly that are retired and not working anymore, kids that are going to school and not yet of age to work, people that are working part-time that may or may not have gone through there. So, guys, it just blows me away. 1 in 100 people in the United States filed for unemployment last week. And we've talked about for years, if you attended my classes, you know I talk about the fact that most people are 2 missed paychecks away from being bankrupt. Well, here we are. It's really scary. And we're going to talk about the stimulus package here in a minute to talk about the government and what they're trying to do. And when you look at the numbers here, the fact that 3.28 million people filed for unemployment, that's a very sobering number. In North Carolina, our confirmed cases have now reached 700. We have over 700 COVID-19 cases in 61 counties. Let me some perspective on that. For those of you that are saying this is not real and that it's fake and fake news and everybody keep going about their business, whatever, let me give you a number. Let me give you some perspective here, okay? 700 confirmed cases this week. That is 5 times more than what we had last week. So if that happens again, that means next week, 3,500 people are infected with the COVID-19. So let me give you some perspective. I had a guy the other day, he says, Brian, only 3% of people are dying from this. Okay, let me relate that to you. Let's suppose that I have 100 Reese's peanut butter cups and I put them in a bowl. And I said, okay, here's 100 Reese's peanut butter cups. There are 3 in here that are going to kill you. So would you take the risk and eat any of those peanut butter cups? Of course you wouldn't. You wouldn't touch them. And that's the point, folks. We need to be staying at home. We've got to get this trajectory under control. So if someone tells you that only 3% of people are dying from this disease, use that analogy on them and see if they'd take a bite out of any of those Reese's peanut butter cups. And just for the record, I love Reese's peanut butter cups. Those of you that know me know I do. So again, if this trajectory continues, we could have 3,500 cases in North Carolina by the end of next week. So the U.S. is now the epicenter of the COVID-19 virus. We have over 82,000 cases in the United States now, and I believe the most recent number I saw was above 525,000 cases throughout the world. So it's definitely doing exactly what we expected it to do. So with those stats in mind, let's talk a little bit about the folks up in Washington, D.C. And Peter Keim, I need you to give me your hashtag. I liked that one. So I want to use that. So Keim, if you could give me that in the comments here, I would greatly appreciate it. But I want to talk about politics for a minute. I understand some of you do not like the president. I understand that some of you love the president, and I get that you have your very passionate political views. I'd like for you to put those aside for a little while and let's work together. It amazes me that I've got some friends that all doing is talking about the political aspects of things. Peter's hashtag is pause the politics. Pause the politics. So I'm going to get on board with this and I'm going to be using that. So thank you, Peter Keim, for that. But the hashtag is pause the politics. Let's talk about what they have done together. Because believe it or not, 90% of what's going on up in Washington, D.C., everybody agrees upon. We all want to take care of each other. We all know the right thing to do. So let's talk about what they've done in this stimulus package that has now gone through the Senate, and the House of Representatives is working on a vote today. They've got to have a minimum of 216 present in order to have a quorum to vote on that. So I'm expecting them to do that. It is interesting seeing the politicians trying to get back to Washington, D.C. for that vote. So let's talk about your checks. There's a $1,200 check that is going to be distributed. By the way, the U.S. Treasurer says that these checks should be mailed within the next 3 weeks. So if everything's passed today, within the next 3 weeks, the checks will be mailed. Checks for individuals making less than $75,000 a year will be for $1,200. So if you make less than $75,000 annually on your W-2, then you will receive a check for $1,200. Now, I'm assuming, based on what I've read, that this is gross pay. So if you make less than 75 gross pay, it's not a net number or anything like that for those of you trying to play games with it. So hear me out and stick with me. I'm not finished yet. But $75,000 a year or less, you'll get a $1,200 check. For married couples making less than $150,000 a year, you will both receive checks for $1,200, which will give you a total of $2,400. Again, if the household is making less than $150,000 a year. Households will also receive a $500 per dependent child on top of that. So you'll receive an additional check for $500 for each dependent child. So if you've got two children living at home, then that'll be $1,000 extra to you. What I'm still waiting on for all of my real estate friends is some clarification on the stimulus effect from contract workers. I saw something that was talking about the unemployment checks and the unemployment applying to us and somewhere around $600 a week. But I'm in reading it, nobody seems to have a grasp of how it actually works. And I don't want to misrepresent that on here. So I'm going to hold off on that. But I do know that contractors, independent contract workers, are typically not included in unemployment stuff, but we're probably going to see them included in some way. I know the National Association of Realtors has been working hard to make sure that independent contractors were included, since there are 1.7 million realtors out there. We'll see what happens with that. The other thing I want to talk about is the stock market. And the stock market went from 29,000 a couple of weeks ago at its high. The lowest peak last week was 18,300, and we're back up to 22,000. So just a little hint, excuse me. Sorry guys, tickle in my throat. Just a little hint for you that have retirement accounts. And not all financial advisors do this. So you may have to ask your person to do this. But you can get, and I don't know the official words, so I'm going to try to describe it, but you can get a document from your financial advisor that says how much money you've lost in the stock market over the last couple of weeks, and you can balance that out. If you get that report here in the next day or so while it's still low, and you can use that at the end of the year to balance out your gains from those accounts. Now, I'm not talking about retirement accounts, like an IRA or a SEP. I'm talking about individual investment accounts. So if you've got money in a money market or something like that, you can write off those losses. So you need to ask your financial advisor. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm just letting you know that I learned about that yesterday, and it's something you may want to take a look at. Okay, so let's get to real estate stats this morning here for the Triangle market. This is the Triangle market, the Triangle MLS. It includes Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, Cary. It includes Johnston County. It includes Franklin and Granville counties. It includes Orange County. It's pretty much everything from Mebane and Burlington to the west, back over to the east, over towards I-95. So we'll have some opportunities there for you to understand. Let's draw a big giant circle around Raleigh and draw about a 40, 50 mile radius around it. And that's what the TMLS covers. So here's your numbers. 6,649 active listings as of 8:30 this morning. That is up from 6,217 2 weeks ago. That's an increase of 6.9% over the last 2 weeks. So round numbers, a 7% increase. I would expect that to continue with the gains in inventory, and we'll talk a little bit more about how that will impact everything. But I would expect the gains in inventory to continue as we go forward with this. The Wake County order at the moment is through April 16th. Durham County's order is through the 30th. Most of the other orders are through the 30th. So we can expect this to continue for the next month. Realtors who are getting their photographs and videography taken are going to be able to continue to market your houses. And we're going to answer the question. The biggest question I've had from sellers is, should I take my house off the market? I'm going to answer that question for you here in just a moment, so stick with me. But expect that growth in inventory to continue, because there are still buyers out there that have to buy. Now, if you are an agent in Wake County, I know that you can show property, but let's be smart about this. The Durham agents cannot show property at this point, but my suggestion would be at least get a walkthrough video of your listing while you still can. Take your phone, hold it up like this, walk through the house and describe all of the rooms and the bedrooms and mention some of the features of the home. You're going to be using that probably for the next 4 weeks, so go ahead and do it. It doesn't necessarily have to be a professional video, but if you're willing to hire a professional videographer, then that's even better, because you get some great high-def shots. I'm going to be doing a virtual open house tomorrow at 1 o'clock here on Facebook. And I'm gonna have it the link to the broadcast done. I'm gonna actually be doing it on Zoom, but I will be posting the listing the open house on Facebook if you'd like to join me. So remember, we're doing virtual showings, virtual open houses as much as we can. If you have to show a house, the best way to do it as an agent is to walk through the house on FaceTime or Skype, something like that. That's probably your best bet. But if you have to meet somebody in person, you need to get some kind of makeshift mask. And let me give you a little hint here. You can take a basic terry cloth towel like this, and you can fold it like so. Take a rubber band and staple it here, another rubber band, staple it here, and you can put it across your face like this. I'm sorry, I got muffled there for a minute. But you can do that with paper towels. You know, take 3 or 4 paper towels, fold them over, and you can make a makeshift mask if you don't have one. But be real careful about those close contact points. It can spread, and we know what the damages are, so be aware of that. So let's talk about taking your house off the market or leaving it on the market. That's the big question for sellers right now. So agents and sellers, I'm talking to you at the moment. Now, I want you to think of it this way. The bans will be lifted probably sometime at the end of April. That would be the anticipation, as if everything continues as we expect it right now. If your house is on market right now and you take it off, that means that people can't see it when they're at home searching online. Don't you think that buyers that are in a position where they have to buy a house are searching online right now at home? I'll guarantee you they're sitting at home looking on their real estate agent's website, or they're looking at one of those monstrous websites, you know, Realtor.com, Zillow, etc. So they're looking at those properties. If yours is off the market and you take it off the market, it's not there for them to see. The other piece of that is when this all happens and we release everybody, it's going to be like releasing 2 dogs that have been cooped up in a crate for 2 or 3 days. They're going to be running outside. They're going to be looking for the opportunity to do this, and the market is going to explode. We're going to continue to see inventory up over the next couple of weeks. My guess is we get up around 7,800 listings if we see this continue like I expect it to. And all of a sudden it's going to drop down from that, because you're going to see hundreds of houses going under contract. We still listed over 1,000 houses over the last couple of weeks in the Triangle market alone. So it has not stopped the real estate business. People still have to sell. People still have to buy. People are moving up. They're moving down. They're downsizing, upsizing, having babies. All of this happened, and we're going to continue to see real estate sales go on. Again, agents, I want to emphasize, please make wise decisions. Whatever you do, it's not about you. It's about putting other people at risk. We don't want to get in a position, I'll reference you back to the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup story earlier. Just because you can show the property doesn't mean you should. And if you've got a cough, if your throat is scratchy, any of that, you need to be staying at home. Do not infect your clients. And don't take them to a house of a seller that you could potentially infect also. So please be cautious. Hello, Michael Martin. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. So we're continuing to see new construction being built. We're continuing to see inspections and repairs being done. Closings are still happening. Let's talk about Durham County closings for a minute, by the way. Those of you that know, you've been backed up in Durham County because you haven't been able to record your transactions. It looks like they've got most of that handled, and that everything will be available for your attorney to be able to do their research and do their title searches for the chain of title on your properties. So expect that to begin again on Monday, but please keep in mind your attorney's probably backlogged by 50 or 60 closings. So it's going to take them some time to get through all of those and to go on through. Also, I want to remind you, if you're writing a contract right now, you need to include the new COVID-19 addendum. Make sure that you're including that in there as one of the addenda. You're going to have to write it in to the offer to purchase and contract in order to include it. I believe it's paragraph 15. I'm not positive, but it's the same section where the additional provisions addendum, the lead-based paint addendum, and all of that is included on the contract. So please make sure you're doing that. Again, I want to kind of wrap up this section and tell you that a growth in inventory is actually a good thing. Buyers especially have known the pain of not having many choices and maybe having to settle for a house that wasn't absolutely perfect for them. So the inventory growth, I think, is ultimately going to be good for the real estate business. I do think that once all of this lifts, you're going to see a huge hit and a flood of new listings on the market. I think there are going to be people that just decide to wait, and it certainly wouldn't surprise me for that to happen. So if you're a seller thinking about selling, I can do a virtual listing appointment with you anytime you want and send you all the paperwork to sign, and we can go ahead and begin preparing your house for sale. So if that's something that you're thinking about doing, and if for some reason we need to delay it, push it out a little bit further, we can do that for you too. So just give me a call or send me an email and we'll be glad to get you set up. All right. Last piece here is for the realtor friends. You got to get your continuing education. Why not go ahead and get it done now while you can? So let me tell you what I'm doing on my website. I have offered I'm offering all online courses through April, and I have made some incredible deals. I've got a broker in charge update, a BIC up on the 7th of April. That's only $40. I'm sold out on a couple of my classes. People are registering quickly for these. So the website is www.brianpateseminars.com. That's seminar with an S on the end.com. So brianpateseminars.com. You can get your CE done online. We got it figured out. To be honest with you, it reminds me of DJing on the radio years ago. I'm basically talking to the screen. We do get a lot of interaction with the students with the question and answers, and there's multitude of classes. You can take BIC up, Gen up. I've got trends. I've got secrets of residential investing. I've got cons, scams, and hacks. All of those classes, everything that I teach live is now available online to you. I just need you to sign up for the courses. When you go to the website, there are lots of courses to choose from. Some are through Superior, some are through Brian Pate Seminars. It's the same class no matter what. So I'm using the same techniques and everything. So you just let me know which class you want to take. The prices are actually listed out there too, so you can see that. So I want to let you know a couple of things on my classes. Number one, my general update class on April 2nd is sold out. I don't have any more seats available. The trends class on April 3rd maybe has 3 or 4 seats remaining. It's getting low. So if you want to take that class, you need to get signed up. If you wanted to take the April 2nd general update, there is another one for April 9th. So it's the same day of the week, the same time. It's still 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on that Thursday. Also want to let you know, realtors, if you've got a client that is considering getting into the investment business, I'll be teaching a public version of the secrets of residential investing on Friday the 10th from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. That's going to be most of the same information that's in the secrets of investing that I teach live and online, but it's going to be a public version. It's not going to be for the agents. So we're going to take out the stuff about agents investing and bring it into the public investing. So if you have a client that is interested in that, it's only $25 to attend. If you'd like to get a taste of what the class is, if you're thinking about being an investor yourself, it's a great opportunity to do that. Again, that's Friday, April 10th. For the public version of the Secrets of Residential Investing. It is not available for CE credit. And I also want to say a job well done and give a kudos out there to my fellow instructors across the state of North Carolina. We've got about 240 instructors across the state of North Carolina for real estate courses. And I'll bet I've communicated with at least half of them in the last 2 weeks. But a little over 2 weeks ago, the Real Estate Commission pivoted and they said, we're not going to allow any more in-person classes. You need to do everything online through at least April 30th, and you need to be prepared to teach online through the end of this CE year on June 10th. And we had over 600 students yesterday. Yesterday was the first day that we were able to teach by the rule of the Real Estate Commission. And we had over 600 students that attended those classes. So congratulations to those students. Thank you for participating. And kudos to all of those real estate instructors that were out there trying a brand new format. So be patient with your instructor. It's tough to learn a new format while trying to teach and make the we can't make eye contact with the student anymore. So the interactivity is a lot more difficult. Okay, let me get to the questions here. Nick Stafford, what is the elective through Superior School of Real Estate? I'm not sure which one that is, Nick. If it just says it's an elective, it means that I do not yet know which one I'm going to be teaching. And if you'll go to the Superior School's website, it will be available there. But everything I'm teaching through Brian Pate Seminars is listed. It's at brianpateseminars.com. If I've got any other questions, go ahead and hit me with them. If you've got a question, put it in the comments. But again, folks, just to kind of recap, most of these stay-at-home orders will be in effect by 5 or 6 p.m. tonight here in the state of North Carolina. We expect to see those continue through April 30th. So let's see. Angie Cole, can I repeat Orange County? Orange County is under the same rules and regs that Durham County is under, Angie. That is my understanding. That is my understanding. So, Nick, the April 1st class is a Superior class. You'll have to log on to the Superior website to register for that. You've got to go to their website in order to do so. Angie, I'm not sure about Graham. Grandma seems to be okay. Got to love the typos. I do not know about Graham. I am not familiar with theirs yet. I did not go out that far. I have not seen anything from Franklin County, Granville County, or Johnston County in terms of the stay-at-home orders. So I do not know what they are requiring and what their regulations are yet. Right now, I don't think Franklin or Granville County has any regulation. I don't think Johnston County has enacted anything. I think that they could potentially do something this weekend. I think a lot of the rural counties are actually waiting on the governor to just do a full lockdown of the state. And please keep in mind, folks, if you are a realtor, if the governor were to do a statewide stay-at-home order, it's likely that real estate would no longer be exempted anywhere. So keep that in mind. If you've got a listing that may be coming on the market in the next couple of weeks, you may want to speed that process up with your clients and go ahead and get it ready to go so that you can market it live online. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate you confirming that for me. Looking forward to getting together with you after all of this stuff for a cigar. So I think I've been on here for a long time, so I'm gonna get away and let you get back out to your day. Again, thanks for joining. I appreciate you giving me your time. Be safe out there. Love you guys, and I will look forward to seeing everybody again soon once we get all this done. We'll have to meet up and have a big old party. Thanks so much, and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.